Welcome to another show, The Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with your host, myself, Damon, Damon the Agent. Hey, I just had some technical difficulties, so I do apologize about that. But I want to I want to continue with the show. So again, I thank you all for joining me. All right. Now, as you all know, I always like to begin my show with the wonderful world of real estate. And this upcoming week is Father's Day weekend. So I will be talking briefly about Father's Day, about fathers. So I thank you all for joining me. And as always, please follow me on all social media platforms on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. So last week I started off by beginning my show with a little quote. Alexa, turn the volume down to one. And I wanted to share because, as you all know or may not know, I'm still reading my book, The 5 a.m. Club. And there were some people who really liked some of the quotes that I said from the book. So I just wanted to share again some things that I've highlighted in the book before I begin my show. So again, this is the 5 a.m. Club. And I want to read this. It says, your surroundings really do shape your perceptions, your inspirations, and your implementations. Art feeds your soul. Great books battleproof your hope. Rich conversations magnify your creativity. Wonderful music uplifts your heart. Beautiful sight fortifies your spirits. And all it takes is a single morning filled with positivity to deliver a monumental download and invented ideas that elevate an entire generation that you know. And it said the true reason to be in the game is to be helpful to society. Your main focus is to serve. Money, power, and prestige are just the inevitable byproducts that have shown up for you along the way. Own your morning and you will elevate your life. And again, that's what this book's about, the 5 a.m. Club. It says, own your morning, elevate your life. I wanted to share that. And then I also wanted to share a quick quote from this book that I'm also reading. I'm reading a couple of books, y'all. This one is called, I don't know what's going on with my thing, Millionaire Success Habits. Millionaire Success Habits. And one of the things from here, it said, no matter where you are in your life at this moment, you want to reach the next level. That can mean expanding your current business, advancing through the ranks of your company, having the nerve to be self-employed, or finding a way to make the money you feel you deserve. So I say all that to say, y'all, that there's always hopes, inspiration, and motivation. So hopefully what I just shared with you all will somehow motivate you all to a certain extent. Again, those books are Millionaire Success Habits and also the 5 a.m. Club. So those of you all can look on Amazon or you can Google to get those books. But as always, let me begin with the wonderful world of real estate. So in real estate right now, I want to talk about foreclosure dates and the importance of this for those people who are going through it. Unfortunately, there's been a rise for people who are beginning to go through foreclosure. During COVID in 2020, there was a lot of deferred payments, and there were a lot of people who did not make payments. Unfortunately, many of them could not catch up. There was a long period of time where no matter if you were behind in paying your rent or your mortgage, that you had time. Well, unfortunately, right now, many people do not have time. So what's happening is some people have started to get foreclosure notices served to them. In doing so, many of them also get foreclosure dates. 9 times out of 10, a foreclosure date is going to be at least 30 days out from when you are served the the foreclosure notice. It is very important for homeowners to be transparent with those people they're working with, whether it's attorneys, whether it's real estate professionals, or whomever. A lot of times people can't help you if you don't provide all the information. And I say all this to say that I had a situation before COVID where I had a young guy and he wanted to put his house on the market. We put his house on the market. We got an offer the first day. This was on a Monday, okay? And when I went to meet up with him for him to sign the contract, he says to me, yeah, so can you stop the foreclosure date? And I'm like, what foreclosure date? He says, there's a foreclosure date for this Friday. So this is on a Monday, okay? I put the house on the market Monday morning. He got a contract Monday afternoon. I met with him Monday evening. And I asked him, I said, why did you wait so late to even put your house on the market? And why didn't you tell me? And his response was pride. He was ashamed of losing his house. He was ashamed of everything. So he thought he had more time. So he was, trying to do other means to keep his property. So I reached out to the bank. And when I reached out to the bank was still proceeding with foreclosure, even though he had an offer in hand. And and the reason why I know the bank do this nowadays, if we go back before 2008 and even after 2008, when many people were going through foreclosure, there were many real estate professionals who were making and writing false offers and submitting them to the bank to buy the homeowner more time. Unfortunately, the banks caught on to that over time. They started to realize that a lot of offers that were being made to them in hopes to pausing the foreclosure date, they found out the offers were not legit. So nowadays, they tend to, if they have a date set, they tend to proceed with the date. Now, you got to understand when foreclosures do occur, not only do you owe how many payments you are behind, but you tend to owe legal fees, late fees, interest. All these things accumulate very quickly in the form of like compound interest. So it's very crucial to be transparent with your real estate professional if you're going through foreclosure. If you have not received a foreclosure date, it's always best to probably put your house on the market as soon as possible if you have equity in your home. I mean, I know some people don't care. They're just, oh, let it go to foreclosure. But if you have equity in your home, it's best to put your house on the market as soon as possible to try to recoup as much equity as possible while you can. Because if the banks get their property, you don't get any of that foreclosure equity. I mean, I'm not foreclosure equity. You don't get any of the equity that's in the property. All of it goes to the bank once they seize the property. So being very transparent with that, because these foreclosure dates, like I said, they're normally at least 30 days out from when you're served. That's the normal, but it's always contingent upon the bank. They can make it within 2 weeks because you haven't paid in months and sometimes years. So it's very crucial being transparent with your real estate professional or attorneys if you are going through a foreclosure procedure. I know it's a tough situation where people don't want to talk, they're embarrassed. That's why sometimes you'll see signs when you're driving, the signs that say we'll buy houses any as is, we'll buy houses if you're going through foreclosures. You know what I'm saying? You see these because people feel like they can call those numbers and the other person on the other side doesn't know them and don't judge them. But in most cases, we're all human. Most cases, you're not being judged by the people that you're working with. We're here to help. We work for you. So I just like to say, please be very transparent when you're dealing with your real estate professional. That way you can hopefully recoup some of the equity that's in the house that you're living in. So I wanted to share that with you because some people don't seem to understand that. So I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. All right, you all. This week, I'm going to spotlight my property of the week. This property is in Washington, D.C. It's actually new construction was started on the property. It is currently up for auction, beginning at $375,000. I want to share it to you. It's right off the Maryland, D.C. line. It's right off the Maryland, D.C. line right there. I'm going to show you a couple of properties right now because it starts at 375, you all. There's a house on the same block that's under contract for 1.1 million. Now, of course, DC holds these type of values with properties. Like I said, depending on The construction work, which is normally range anywhere from 150 to 350, depending on the, I'm sorry, 150 to 300,000, depending on the project, and renovation work. Let's say hypothetically a person was to get this at 400, and then they put 300,000. I'm just doing worst case scenario. They put 300,000 in it, and then they sell it for $1 million. They definitely have some profits of a couple of 100,000. So, and it always just depends on the people who are buying the property. Depends on how much work is being put into the property. But I want to showcase this. This is the property of the week. Let me show this around for you all. How can I turn this around? I don't even know how to turn this thing around. I'm gonna leave this alone. Hold on. All right. So this is massive potential in DC. A great opportunity for any local investors. Again, this is at 2814 Rhode Island Avenue. That property is starting bid is 375. Again, starting bid is 375. So I just wanted to share that real quick, let you all know that that is the property of the week. Now I want to briefly talk about guaranteed income. There's a lot of ways out here where people can make money. People are making money, but of course you have to a lot of times put hard work into a lot of the work that you do in order to get the money. There are ways to get guaranteed income. I've spoken about annuities. I've spoken about the IUL life insurance policy, and, and a guaranteed income, normally refers to regular cash payment to a person. Normally it's monthly, and in some cases it's annually. Just depends on what form and what are you getting. Now, there are a lot of different investments that a person can use. Of course, I always like to tell people to go through an insurance broker or brokers to talk about these things. But I want to put that nugget in your head to look into it, because as people are getting older, there are many ways. There are bonds, there are money market funds, there are certified deposits, there are annuities, there are dividend stocks, there are municipal bonds. And I'm just saying these are a few things that people can look into. You'll be surprised. Like recently, I had one of my cars be in the shop, and the amount of money that it cost me for repairs, I started thinking that if I was to invest that money into something, let's say IRA, let's say an annuity, I started thinking that in a couple of years, I could have asset and appreciation off of that money where my car is depreciating. So I say that to say that I think that a lot of people need to start looking in that form, because even though people may be making a lot of money, whatever you're doing, it's not always guaranteed money. And if anything happens to your health, then the money stops because you're no longer to work. Like I said, the sources that I strongly recommend are annuities, okay, IRA, and I also want to talk about money market funds and dividend stocks. But like I said before, I can elaborate more on that if you just reach out to me, send me a message. I can, help you, and we can hold a conversation, because everyone's financial portfolio is different. Everyone needs is different. Everyone's income is different. So I'm just giving you a basic topic of discussion. But if you'd like to elaborate more on it, we can definitely hold a great conversation about it, very soon. That way, to help expand to help expand the knowledge and also your income. So I wanted to talk about that briefly. I'll be right back, you all. Okay, so this weekend is Father's Day weekend, and I'd like to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Yes, I'm a father of 5. My oldest will be 30 this year in December. I have a 26-year-old that I raised since she was 4. I have a 25-year-old daughter. My son will be 23 in July, and of course, you all know I have the spectacular Zariah, who just turned 4. I like to talk about fathers, and when I'm talking about this topic, I'm not talking about myself. I'm just talking in general, from what I've seen, and just I like to be sometimes an advocate for us men in many ways, but I think in many cases, a lot of the good fathers are unappreciated today. Fathers, in many cases, no matter what a father does, he's supposed to do it. He's supposed to provide for his family. He's supposed to protect his family. And these things are all true. But you all know that appreciation goes a long way. Many of you don't know, but a man, and this man, whether you're a father or not, a man that feels appreciated will always do more than what's expected. That's by nature. A man that feels appreciated will always do more than expected. A father that feels appreciated, of course, will, what I'm saying, always do the same. And I say that because I see so many great fathers out there who are not valued. Even when Father's Days come around, um, the typical thing is a tie, maybe cologne, maybe give them something to eat, give them peace or whatever. When Mother's Day comes around, it's a big hoopla and everything because, of course, mothers are great. Without mothers, any of us wouldn't be here. But, without fathers, neither people wouldn't be here either. And I think a lot of fathers don't get the recognition that they need and deserve. There are some bad fathers, fathers who don't know how to respond to certain things because as individual human beings, we all don't know how to respond to every situation. But there are some men who go above and beyond. There are some men who make sacrifices for their families and they're not valued or appreciated. And then sometimes men, they suffer in silence. And when they suffer in silence, that's why sometimes they have the behavior of straying away. That's why they have the behavior of doing things that they shouldn't do, whether it's drinking, whether it's drugs, whether it's doing things like going to strip clubs or being with other women. Sometimes, and I'm not justifying any of those things. There is no excuse for any of those things. But I say that to say is, how often is a man told that he's a good father? How often is he told that he's a great father? How often is he told that he's appreciated or valued, even by his own kids? I hear a lot of complaints from people who complain about their grown kids, and I can relate because a couple of my grown kids, what I'm saying, are similar in behavior. But the one thing that I also hear, whether it's mothers or whether it's fathers, is that the grown kids don't appreciate them, have a sense of entitlement, have always looking for money, always, what I'm saying, don't take care of them, don't call them. And I just say that to say that, on this Father's Day, do something different. I'm not saying don't give them the typical tie, don't give them the typical steak dinner, don't give them the typical cologne, don't let them because the basketball game, if it comes on Sunday, depending on what the Mavericks do tonight, don't let's give them a piece of that. Do something different for the fathers in your life. I'm talking about the good fathers. You know what I'm saying? You ever write that man a personal card? I'm talking about handwritten, just writing down everything that you appreciate and like and thank this man for what he's done over the year. Because whether you realize it or not, even though he might get up and go to work, even though he might pay the bills, and even those things he's supposed to do, telling him you appreciate him will hold so much value than just sometimes saying Happy Father's Day. Because best believe there's a lot of good fathers on Father's Day just going to get a text message or a phone call and say Happy Father's Day. you know. But sometimes they don't even understand the sacrifice that the good fathers have made. A lot of good fathers could have been like the bad fathers, could have not showed up, could have not came around, could have not paid. And I'm not saying this right. Only thing I'm saying is though is when people are doing right, when they are doing things, just like you being on your job, every now and then you want to hear that you're doing a good job. Every now and then you want a bonus for what you're doing. Even though when you show up to work, you're supposed to get your compensation is your paid. So your payment is your reward for the work you do. But even though that's your reward for the work you do, it will sometimes motivate you to do more and to do better if your boss appreciated you, if your job appreciated you, if your boss thanked you, if your boss gave you a bonus every now and then. The same thing goes for fathers. See, fathers are the boss of their homes, but they're not appreciated. They're not appreciated. They're not valued in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? Everything is always about mothers. Things need to be balanced, y'all. Balance. Everything needs to be balanced. It's not one-sided. I don't care what it is. Even in relationship, it's not one side. Sometimes it may be unbalanced when it pertains to the work that needs to be done because somebody might can do something better than someone else. Or maybe it's unbalanced financially because one person makes more than the other person. But you do what you have to do to make things work. And I say that to say that even for a lot of men who are out there being fathers, it's not easy for them. They don't always have the best situations when dealing with their kids' mother. Some kids' mothers give them hell. I know for my grown kids that I've just mentioned to you all, my 4 grown kids, I caught hell from all. It was 3 mothers, y'all. I caught hell from all 3 mothers at the same time. Same time. I thought they became best friends or something. They were giving me a hard time, and all I wanted to do was spend time with my kids. I was paying child support. I was trying to get them on the weekend. I got them on the weekends most times. But I'm saying I was getting a hard time. And which to the point I had one older guy tell me, and I would never advise this to anyone. There was one older guy who told me, man, if I was just you, I'll just pay that child support, go on to get you another woman, and go on about your life. And you know what I said to that man? Those are my kids. Those are my blood in my kids' vein. I couldn't abandon my kids like that because I wouldn't want my father to do that to me. And that's the one thing that always motivated me. I always tried to do for my kids as if what I would wanted my father to do for me. And I say that to say that it was a struggle, it was a sacrifice. But I know for me back then, I mean, I got cars for my kids every now and then. But of course, I wasn't looking for nothing from their mother. But I'm just saying, as father, you all don't know what men go through to be in their kids' life sometimes. You all don't know the struggle. You all don't know financially what they're dealing with outside of the home. And when they see their kids, sometimes that's the best thing a man can do. Their kid is their reward. How their kid feel about them, how their kids think about them, especially when they are a good father. So I say on Father's Day, on top of them wishing them a happy Father's Day, do something different. If you ain't got them a cake, give them a cake like it's their birthday. Give them the food. Give them a back massage. You know what I'm saying? Take them on something. Write them something. But in some way, fashion, or form, show your appreciation because a lot of good fathers are totally underappreciated. And we're just really unappreciated in many ways. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers again. I'm going to come back with a quick recap. I'll be right back. All right. So again, let me do my recap. I was talking about foreclosure dates. I was saying that unfortunately, since COVID, there was a lot of people who were unable to make payments and that the foreclosures are starting to come around. So for those who are going through foreclosure, you're not going to be able to recoup that money and pay it. And if you have equity in your home, which I'm sure you do if you bought your home in 2020 or 2021 or 2022, you have equity. I would strongly suggest you to sell your property as quickly as possible, retain that equity money, and to move on rather than letting the bank just grab your home and you don't recoup anything. And just be transparent with the people you work with, attorneys, real estate professionals, because we're all here to help you. Okay. I also talked about guaranteed income. I strongly recommended that people start to look into certain things such as dividend stocks, money mutual funds, annuities, bonds, and also I think I mentioned certified deposits. To start to look at them, these are seeds that I'm planting in your head for you all to actually take a good look at them. And when I say take a good look at them, I mean basically just so you can get a feel for helping your money grow, because you got to focus on your financial portfolio. You are focus on it. For those who feel like, oh, I got money coming in, I got direct deposit, regardless if it's your SSI, whatever you got going on, that can stop tomorrow. You have to have multiple streams of income. And I'm just planting this bug in your head because there are people who spend $5,000 and more a year on alcohol, traveling, unnecessary clothes, and all these other expendable resources and stuff for you all to just spend your money on. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with you doing. I'm saying take some of that money and plug it into an investment that's going to pay you dividends down the line, because 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, it will be very crucial for many of you all to do so. And I wanted to also go over the unappreciated fathers. Listen, as men, we all want to be appreciated by our loved ones, especially our kids and everything. So on Father's Day, don't just say Happy Father's Day. Just don't just send a text. Really, really, really wish that father a happy Father's Day. So that's my show for today. Please follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. And again, happy Father's Day. I will see you all next Friday, same time, 12 noon.